Before we get into today's video, I'd like to ask you a question. Have you ever thought about making money for game mastering? If you have, go to GameShopsBasement.com. There's a banner ad at the top that can take you some more information about learning how to do just that. And now, on with our feature presentation.
Welcome to Tales from the Basement #1. Tales from the Basement was kind of inspired by my co-host on Basement Banter, Rowdy Rory from Ireland. So Rory kind of mentioned that, since I've been playing D&D for a while. I've been playing it for 39 years, as well as, other games, Rift, Shadowrun, and Marvel and DC superheroes, a whole lot of others. And he kind of mentioned that he thought, anyway, at least, so blame him. If this doesn't go over, just blame him. But he thought that some of the stories that I tell sometimes, like the old veteran war stories of gaming, might, be kind of entertaining from time to time. So we're going to give this a try here. So welcome to Tales from the Basement, the game shop's basement. This is the tale of the Tundra Frog. So one time in the 1990s, in the original Game Shop's basement from which we take our brand, there was this debate going on, specifically about the Marvel superheroes game, or just superheroes games in particular. And the debate was over whether it was better to randomly roll your character completely randomly, like number of powers and exactly what those powers were, or whether it was okay to design your character on purpose without all those random rolls and random craziness. And of course, there were people on the side of the people that for design that thought design was better. They said, if you just roll on these random tables, you're going to wind up with characters that just don't make any sense. There's no theme. It's just like, how does this character even make any sense? On the other side, the person was talking about, what it meant to be a good role player and to use your imagination and to your creativity and to think outside the box. And this person said, well, you can, I can come up with any list of powers because I'm a good role player and I can just make up, a superhero that works with these powers. And so they decided to settle it right there with dice and books. And they whipped out the Marvel Superheroes books and rolled right there. They rolled for number of powers, and they rolled 3. And the 3 powers that they rolled were hyper leaping, cold generation, and earth control. Hyper leaping, cold generation, and earth control. And so the guy who rolled the dice, he said, look, I'm the Tundra Frog. And so the argument was kind of won by the people that said if you just roll random things, it's just silly, because the Tundra Frog, leaping around and having earth and cold powers. So it became slang in the game shop's basement that a superpowered character that didn't have a theme or just had weird wacko abilities that didn't make any sense being in the same character was a Tundra Frog. So later in life, I would go on to write some superhero books, and I actually included the Tundra Frog with hyperleaping, earth control, and cold generation in the series. But, that is a story for another day. So if you'd like to support the Game Shop's basement, there are several different ways you can do that. Some of them are even free. You can do the like and subscribe thing, here on YouTube or on whatever platform you saw this video. And of course, you can sign up for a game. You can go to startplaying.games, which is our booking platform, and leave a positive review for me or one of the other GMs there if you've had a positive experience with one of the other GMs associated with Game Shop's basement or with startplaying.games in general. Doesn't hurt to support other people's games. There's other people out there besides Game Shop's basement. So just support what you like, because it really helps. There was a shoot. Now I'm going to go into another story, but I think it's worth it. There was a gentleman when I was on the conventions. I mentioned that I wrote books. Back when I wrote books, I haven't written one for probably about 15 years or had anything published. Me being an author, that's kind of like a whole nother lifetime ago before going through certain divorce messiness. And sometimes pre and post divorce messiness in your life is like a different life. But when I was a more currently published author, shall we say, than I am now, I was on the convention circuit and I met a very good friend, Steve Bennett, and he was the person. He had a Iron Cat manga studio in Japan, and he told me a story that I took from him that I share because it's very important. And he was talking about how he would go to conventions and he would promote his Iron Cat manga studio stuff, his art and everything. And people would come up and they'd want to talk otaku with them. They'd want to talk anime. They'd want to talk manga. And they'd talk about, man, this one series, whether it was a cartoon or a comic, whatever it was just so great. They just didn't do any more. They just stopped. It was just terrible. But it was so popular. It's one of the enduring classics. It's one of the most popular of all time. And Steve would say, well, let me ask you a question. Did you ever pay for it? And resoundingly, very often, the answer was no. People pirated it. And so there was this whole culture of people that would love this stuff, but they wouldn't actually put any money towards it. And so Steve was like, well, see, that's the thing. If a studio makes something that you love and they don't make any money back on it, then they can't make more. So that's why all like these one-shot movies or these one-season animes or these one-shot comic books or one-story arc comic books or whatever, no matter how popular they were, no matter how well-loved they are, they have to stop after the first one because nobody's paying them. So that sounds kind of harsh. So, gee, John, you're like the laid-back game master. You're not usually so preachy. Well, Steve Bennett preached that, and it kind of hit me, So it's important, and I live my life like that. I really avoid piracy. Now, if you came to my house, you might find a few things on my hard drive that were downloaded off the internet from a few different places. I want to be real with you. I don't want to be a total hypocrite, but I avoid piracy whenever I can. I understand how important it is to support things. Things have to be supported in order to go on. That's just life. That's just how it is. So, yeah. So if you want to support Game Shop's Basement, there's even free ways to do it. Like and subscribe. That helps. Write a review. That helps. That was totally free. Or if you want to get some bang for your buck, sign up for some games or check out some of our other merchandise and products at www.gameshopsbasement.com. So that's me signing off for Tales from the Basement, the tale of the Tundra Frog, plus some bonus preaching secondhand from Steve Bennett. All right, I will see you in game.